Shrewsbury calls it. Hello.
You on there?
Not yet.
Just leave it with you there. It will be a
One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live. I'm your host Ollie Buck and I'm delighted to be joined by ex-Orient players. We've got Jabo Abire and Joe Widdowson in the studio this afternoon, and it's a big game for the O's as we go on the hunt for our first points in the league as we are on the road facing Shrewsbury Town FC. And it does feel like a little bit of a big one. We're the only two teams in the league to not have any points on the board, so at the end of the day, there's only going to be one team potentially without any points on the board, and we really don't want that to be us.
Yeah, really don't want that to be us at all. And this is the thing, when you have like sort of on paper like tough fixtures that we've had at the start with arguably potential 3 teams that are going to be in and around the mix for promotion, and then you come to a team now in Shrewsbury that you go into the game thinking, yes, one we should win, we can win, but the pressure now mounts on that game because of the previous results, albeit against some top teams, and we were well in the games. But now it just makes this game seem like even more spicier, and we kind of have to get that result.
And Richie's made a point of saying that himself, Joe. If certain mistakes had maybe have gone a different way and mistakes hadn't have been made, we could have walked away from those games with either 3 or at least a point. We've matched these teams. We'll talk about Tuesday night in the Cup against Millwall. We've not looked like a side who shouldn't have any points on the board. So today, hopefully, will be a bit different.
Yeah, I think we can. That's something that you can take from the early games so far. Is the performances by and large have been pretty good. They've been the games that we've lost. They've been narrow defeats, by the odd goal here and there. And like Jabo said, we've played like some top teams that are going to be in and around the hunt for promotion. So I think in general, performances have been pretty good. So I think there's a lot of positives in the game so far. I think it's just about trying to keep perspective though. Like we get, for the players today, they don't want to build themselves too much up for this game. Like it's a win or bust sort of game. It's like it's just another game. It's still very early on in the season. It's a new team, lots of new players. And it's just about progression. Don't get me wrong, the points and a win today would be great, but I think it's just about trying to take the positives from previous games, trying to build on those. Cut out the defensive mistakes, really, and yeah, hopefully that will lead to picking up a win today.
Well, as we've said, it is of course still very early days in the season, and of course yesterday the transfer window slammed firmly shut, and we caught up with Richie Wellens ahead or after that transfer window shut. So let's hear a little bit of what he had to say now.
So Gaffer, Lingy, thanks for joining me late at night, using the powers of technology as we're all in different places. Gaffer, I know you wanted to make it clear that that's not your house in the background.
I would definitely not have green curtains in my house. So yeah, at the moment I'm in a hotel in Shrewsbury.
So transfer window is now closed. So I'll start with you first, Gaffer. So just your assessments of the window. How pleased are you with how it's gone? How pleased are you with your squad?
I think we've got a good squad. Like I said, the only thing that we're probably lacking is just that little bit of experience. But when you look at the market, what it is this summer, the experienced players that are proven at the level are so expensive. There's a lot of clubs that have spent a hell of a lot of money. So then we've got decisions to make. Do we want to get experienced players that have played 400-500 games, flickering between League 2 and League 1, or do we want to go and get young, exciting players? So we've took the viewpoint that we've worked well with young players in the past. You look at the last couple of seasons, some of our best players has been El Mazouni, young player on his second loan, Shaq Ford. So we thought that we'd go down that route. You look at the young players that signed permanently, Ollie O'Neill, Ethan Galbraith, Jordan Brown. So I think we've got a really young, exciting squad. I don't want the first 3 results to cloud people's thoughts in we haven't got a good enough squad. We have. We could easily be sat here now on 6 points. We're not, but we've got an exciting squad. I think when you speak to the opposing managers, they're all aware that Leyton Orient have energy, have athleticism, and have a lot of ability in the team. So in all, I think I'm really pleased with the squad.
Top stuff there from the Gaffer and Lingy, and I like Richie's curtains. I don't know what he was saying about it, but he makes a good point. We were talking about it just before we came on air. Teams in this league spending £15 million on players. I mean, I think that's more than we've probably spent on wages in our history, let alone on a transfer. I guess we can't compete at that level. But as Lingy said in that interview, which you can of course see in full on YouTube, we've got a lot of young, exciting players in. We've got potential, we've got prospects, and we know that Richie can work with those kind of players, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. I think you have to use, whatever kind of tools and strengths you have to kind of get by and to try and progress. And I think, we're not going to be one of the biggest spenders in the league. We don't have one of the biggest budgets, but what we do have is, really good coaching in Richie, who likes working with young players, is really good at improving and developing young players. And also, I think, Orient is an attractive club for young players to come to get an opportunity. You look at the likes of, Ethan Galbraith, who's come from, sort of a bigger club, has an opportunity, done really well, and you can see the signs of development. So I think it's a good, it's a kind of good method, if you like, from the club. And hopefully it will prove fruitful for not only for the club but for those individuals as well, and players can go on and possibly play higher.
And even before Richie or even Nigel and took over, we've always had a track record of bringing good youngsters through the academy. Jabbo, none spring to mind.
Yes, nothing to mind.
No. But as a youngster, then we have had a few players come through in the past that have gone to have really good careers. It feels like a good place for them to do so, as Joey alluded to.
Yeah, I mean, Orient have always had that. I think it's the opportunity to play in front of a magnificent stage and a crowd that really get behind youngsters. Because remember when I was a youngster and many youngsters came through my youth team age at that time, and they loved just seeing young players from the club coming through, get extra support. And I think the crowd allow players to develop as well. They don't get onto them. They don't judge it necessarily on the results. They know as a youngster coming through, they're patient with them sometimes. And I think coming from bigger clubs, they know we try and play attractive football, try and play football in the correct way if there's a correct way. And especially with Richie, the way he sets the teams up, the positioning, his tactics and everything, I just think you can learn so much from being in this environment. Hence why loads of clubs seem to be keen in sending youngsters to us, because Orient have had that name around for a while, and like you said, there's so many players that have gone on to do good things, and it's a great arena, and they should jump at the opportunity to be on the pitch and do well.
Wise words from someone who's lived it themselves. So there is a lot of exciting young players out to make a point, and hopefully they can do that today. So let's take a look at the lineup that Richie has opted for as we face Shrewsbury Town. So starting in goal is Zach Hemming. Across the back four we have Sean Clare starting at right back, and Jaden Sweeney, of course, an academy graduate, starting at left back. He was magnificent on Tuesday night against Millwall. Starting in the two centre back positions is Brandon Cooper, who's wearing the armband, and partnering him is the other academy graduate in this side. It's Dan Happy. In the midfield, we have Ethan Galbraith and Jordan Brown. And then just ahead of them, we have Jamie Donnelly. In the wide position, we have Ollie O'Neill on the left and Dan Adjie on the right. And Charlie Kelman is leading the line. And on the bench for the O's, we have Sam Howes, Omar Beckles, Lewis Warrington, Dialang Jayasimi, Dan Pratley, another academy graduate, Zek Obiero, and Sonny Perkins. So that is how the O's are facing up to Shrewsbury today. What do you make of that? I mean, we were incredibly fantastic on Tuesday night against Millwall defensively. We made a championship team look absolutely ineffective. Jaden Sweeney, incredible. The whole back line was great. Zach Hemmings, calm, cool and collected. That's something to take a bit of confidence from, isn't it?
100%. And I think the result on Tuesday was needed, and getting a clean sheet as well just gives the back four so much confidence, because in previous games, just been a couple of errors that can kind of just knock you off your trajectory as you start a new season. So I think getting a clean sheet midweek is really good, and then keeping the faith in them to again play again and then get that sort of fluidity, get understanding is going to be magnificent. And then with Dan up there with Kelman, there's exciting things that could happen, and it looks like a very structured good side. So.
It certainly does. And let's talk about Jaden Sweeney, because he's played a lot of football so far this season. I know it's early doors, but Jack Curry joined on deadline day on loan from Oxford. It's another left back, but he's kept his spot today, and he was so good on Tuesday night. But he's one who'll be wanting to show today that he wants to keep his spot in the team. And as a left back yourself, what are you seeing, Jaden?
Yeah, I think Jaden's something that we spoke about quite a lot, haven't we, over the last couple of years? And we said before the first game of the season against Bolton at home, I think it was a big show of faith from Richie to you know, to include him, to start him. You know, he gave him that confidence to say, look, you know, I want to trust you. I want to go with you to start the season. Which, you know, when Glenn was on, we were saying as a player, you know, you have a long pre-season, and you know everyone's geared around being in the team, aren't you? You know what I mean? Just for that first game, you want to be included. So I think for Jayden, that was a massive confidence boost. And then, you know, he's done well. He's stayed in the team by and large, and he's performed well. I think he's grown with confidence, and you know, he's a player that I'd say he's not naturally the most confident, but I think the more he plays, the better you you know, you see him kind of like believing in himself. Do you know what I mean? That confidence starts to grow, and he's a player with big attributes. I think physically, you know, he's very, very fit, very mobile, can get up and down, really good in the air, underrated in the air, very solid defensively. I think he can have a bit more belief in himself going forward as well, because I think, you know, he's got his delivery's improved. I think his decision making in possession is improved, and I've seen a lot of signs of progress in his game, to be honest. And probably a lot of that is down to Richie. I think the coaching team have really worked with him, and you know, seen his potential, and the fact that he's continuing to play him. I think the fact that he's another lad that's coming on loan as well will be good for him. You know, just to keep him on his toes. He won't get comfortable. Obviously, you got Tom James as well, who, you know, we know can play on that side. But you know, I hope that, you know, Sweens just continues on the path he's on. You know, don't get complacent. Keep trying to improve. You know, game by game, playing at this level. You know, he's gonna adapt more and more, become more confident, and hopefully we can see him continue to do well.
Hopefully so. Well, we've spoke about defence and probably the need to keep a clean sheet today. So just looking at into midfield, then we've spoke about age, and it's a very young midfield. Zach Obiero's dropped out down to the bench for the first time this season. Got Jordan Brown and Ethan Galbraith, the two probably what you'd call the centre mids, and Jamie Donnelly just ahead of them in the 10. It's young, but it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that youthful exuberance. I think it's important sometimes, you know, because they play without fear, they play the ball forward, they're exciting. And in Jamie Donnelly, like I said, he's very calm in possession, but he's got a great way of pass, and he sees passes. So the more he's playing, the more he's getting involved in understanding, you know, how the team plays and, you know, the patterns. I think we can start seeing, you know, his game coming to fruition. But I mean, it's exciting and a lot of energy. You know, and Brown has to probably, at his tender age, probably more of an experienced player. But it's a good responsibility and it's a good way to adapt. And, you know, the team looks full of energy and we need it in this league for sure.
It's an interesting one because Ethan Galbraith's probably the player you would have expected to occupy that 10 role. But with Donnelly coming in, he can obviously play out wide, up top, in the 10. Where does that leave Ethan? Does he play a bit deeper? Is that his game? It will be interesting.
It'd be interesting, but I think, you know, maybe there might be a slight rotation sometimes if, you know, Galbraith might find himself further forward and Donnelly will sit in with Brown. So I think it's about recognising moments in the game where a player might be just a bit further on so I can fill in. But it's great that they can both adapt. They're both capable and technically good enough to sort of find themselves in a different position and still maintain the ball and possession. So I think it's exciting because they're really good technical players and it'd be good to see how they feel today.
I think just on that as well, I think, you know, the fact that Ethan's perhaps dropped down a little bit deeper shows that, you know, Richie's got a lot of faith in him and a lot of confidence. You know, he's played under Richie now for over a year, and it's like he understands the system. He understands what Richie wants from his three midfielders. I think you'd expect Jordan Brown to be the one that's probably the most disciplined, sits, do you know what I mean, breaks play up. And I think with Ethan, it's a bit of trust because, you know, we know that he wants to get forward and get in those attacking areas. But I think Richie's saying to him, look, I need you to do a bit of both. Do you know what I mean? You're going to have to be disciplined at times. You're going to have to sit in and help Jordan Brown in there. But when it's on to make the box, I want you getting forward. I want you in attacking areas trying to make things happen. But he's probably given a bit more like freedom and license to Donnelly, you know, who's less familiar with how Richie works. But I'm sure he wants Donnelly to influence the game, get himself in pockets and be a threat and be creative going forward.
Well, it's certainly a dynamic and exciting midfield trio, and we're going to come on to the attack very shortly. But first, of course, don't forget, if you're watching along live on our YouTube stream and you're an international fan, then today's match is available to watch here on Orient Live. UK followers, you can listen along with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock with an audio pass, and you can pick up your passes for that over at www.latestorient.com. Now, launching today on CBS was a documentary featuring our very own Nigel Travis. Let's have a little sneak peek and see what it's all about.
Pete, can we do your interview now?
Is this the three old guys jealous of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, Doc? Yeah, I guess. I'm Kevin Day, and today on the Price of Football podcast, the show that looks at the money behind the beautiful game, American invasion or infestation.
I am Rob Cooey. I'm a 74-year-old lawyer.
Wycombe Wanderers, bought by Rob Coohig. Interesting town, interesting club, and he's had some great ideas, but God love him, I bet he gets called the ugly Yank at least 15 times a day.
You want to see fireworks, guys? You need goals, is what the answer
Well,
is.
yeah, you need goals, but they're not mutually inconsistent.
Absolutely wrong, Rob.
I'm Simon Hallett, I'm 68 years old, and I'm chairman of Plymouth Argyle Football Club. I've been here 33 years in the United States. I made my money helping to run an investment firm in New Jersey. A few years ago, I decided that I'd like to get involved with my boyhood football club. They were recovering from financial difficulties. I happened to have some money.
Simon Hallett at least sounds like an Englishman. Plymouth Argyle, big club, big crowds. The only problem is Plymouth is about as close to London as London is to the sun.
Nigel Travis, age 74, chairman, Leyton Orient Football Club.
To be fair, Nigel's done some great things at Orient already, but Brisbane Road isn't exactly the new stadium at Tottenham.
To be honest, to buy a football club you have to be slightly insane, so I'm probably insane.
We all took this crazy plunge to be the caretaker of something that means so much for so many. Frankly, I didn't realize how much it meant to so many people.
I'm not very good at carrying cash around, but I think I'd be willing to take out $5 for who finishes the highest in the league this year.
I'm in, Nigel. $5 is a lot of money, but I think it shows that it's not really about the money, it's about the winning, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be a nice decoration for my study because I'm going to put it on my wall.
Well, you're going to be waiting a long time because you're going to finish bottom based on where we are right now.
I get a kick out of Nigel. I have a little internal bet as to how long it takes him before he mentions that he's the former CEO of Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm pretty confident that we'll do okay this year, but what we really want to do is beat Rob Cooey.
Simon's got a lot of money. Nigel, of course, talks like he's got a lot of money. And me, I could use the $5.
Well, that looks like it will be an interesting watch. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that one. Now, the O's will be donning their home strip again this afternoon. And just a little quick reminder that a lot of sizes are selling out in the club store. So head over online or into the club superstore when open to pick up your replica home shirt. It's open during the normal opening hours, and you, of course, can purchase it online as well. So make sure you pick up yours soon. But now I want to talk about Dan Adjei just a little bit. I think we've got some clips to see here. He scored on Tuesday night. He's been maybe unlucky with his time here at Orient so far. When he did play last season, he got goals. A couple already this season. One in the cup against Newport there, and then another in the cup against Millwall on Tuesday night. He'll be wanting to open his league account today, won't he, Jabbo?
Yeah, definitely. And we just want to see him fit, getting into his groove and firing. Because when he's at it and he's playing games and there's minutes in those legs, he's a threat. He's so unassuming sometimes. He's deceptively quick. Sometimes I see him dribble, I'm thinking, it seems like he's moving slow. Next minute he's gone past them and stuff. So I think he's just a fantastic, dangerous player. And when he's in the side firing, we just look a much better team.
You say he looks kind of deceptively quick. He looks deceptively strong. There's been a couple of clips here where he's just holding men off, and it doesn't look like a massive guy, but my word, I wouldn't want to come up against him.
Well, he's very lean. He's got good balance. He's very strong. You can see his core. You look at his muscles. They're all there. And because he does things in such a way, he doesn't overexert himself. So he's always sort of in control. So if anyone comes in, he's just knocked the ball past the player, dribbled well, leans his body in, uses that balance of the player to keep going. Because everything he does is with precision, whatever I can't pronounce it right now. He does it really well, and I just want to see him fit and get a run, and he could really do some numbers.
And he's been kind of alternating with Kelman a little bit. He's mainly been leading the line and sometimes out wide. He's got a bit of everything though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. You know, he's one of those players. I just call him like a forward. Like he's just an attacking player. Like he can do, you know, play in various roles. You know, either side, down the middle, like as a out and out number 9. But you know, as Jabbo says, he's just a real sort of like powerful boy. He's really athletic. You can see he's just like kind of naturally strong, quick. You know, he can hold his own when he plays up top. You know, he can physically. He can battle with centre halves, and you know he's got the pace to stretch defences in behind. So he is, you know, he's a handful. He's a handful, and I think you know, for him he'll be wanting to, as Jabbo said, stay fit first and foremost, and get a full season of games under his belt, but also try and get those numbers up in terms of goals. So you know he can be regarded as like a real goal threat, not just a handful and a tough player to play against. You know, he wants to be recognised, I'm sure, as like a number 9 or a forward who gets goals, gets assists, regularly chipping in and impacting games. So yeah, he's an exciting player to watch. A lot of potential. I think sometimes you don't always know what you're going to get with him, which is exciting. But also I think if he can really start to just add goals to his game like consistently, he can be a really top player.
Hopefully he can open that league account of his this afternoon against Shrewsbury. Now, just under 10 minutes to go until kick-off. And before we take a look at the home side, let's hear from the man who will be running the midfield this afternoon. It's Ethan Galbraith.
Yeah, I think the first month of the season, it's been results-wise, obviously we want more points on the board, but as performances go, I think there can be a lot of positives. I think we've played well in them, went toe-to-toe with obviously some of the big teams in the league, but predominantly you want more points, but as a whole we're not too worried. So I think it's like not a great start, but I think we've got a lot of stuff to build on. The mood's still good. I think it's a great group. Again, we're thinking about points and stuff, but we do think it'll come because, like I said, the performances have been generally good. For confidence, defo. I think even the other night, as a squad, you can see whoever plays can obviously do a job. So yeah, I think the squad's obviously healthy. I think Tuesday night it shows I think maybe 6 or 7 changes, and the performance is still quality. And obviously to go to a championship team away and win, I thought the lads were excellent. Being back in the squad, I was with them in the summer, so you sort of know when the squads are going to be announced again. I was hoping I was sort of going to be in it, and then obviously to find out that I'm in it, buzzing. Obviously it's an honour to play for your country, so yeah, just buzzing. I think it's coming 3 points with our performances, and yeah, I think Saturday's a big one for us to get the first 3 points on the board. So yeah, it'd be good to obviously do that. Over the summer I was thinking about it myself anyway, but I speak with a gaffer quite a lot, and he's wanting me to get more goals and assists, and yeah, I'm trying to get more this season. Last season towards the end, I think the season probably ended at the wrong time for me because I was sort of hitting form a bit, but yeah, hopefully this season more goals and assists. Yeah, it was a nice one night. Obviously when Tage is on the ball you just have to make a run because the quality of Tage is unbelievable, so yeah, if I had missed it, I think I had one after that actually where I scuffed it, tried to chip him again, so I won't be trying any more chips.
Top stuff there from Ethan. Now, not long to go until kick-off. So let's take a look at the home side. It's Shrewsbury Town, who are also on 0 points as things stand, but hopefully it will stay that way as well. So starting in goal for Shrewsbury is number 1. It's Toby Savin. Across the back 4, we have Luca Hall at right back. At left back, we have Malvin Benning. And then in the middle of defence, we have Aristote Nisiala and the captain, Morgan Feeney. In midfield, we have Alex Gilead and Taylor Perry. Just ahead of them in that front 3 behind the striker is Tommy O'Reilly, Leo Castledine and Jordan Shipley. And then leading the line for them is their number 9, George Lloyd. And on the bench for Paul Hurst's side is Joe Young, Aaron Pierre, Tom Bloxham, George Nurse, Charles Sago Jr. and ex-Orient loanee John Marquis. So, I mean, we've touched on it already, but another side who are looking to pick up their first points, Shrewsbury probably didn't have quite as tough a start as we did. On paper, this is the one we're looking at and going, we should be winning this.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, yep, it's a great thing, but you know, given our start and the way we fared in the games, we were just picked. We were well in those games. Whereas Shrewsbury, on the other hand, they've lost 5 out of 6 games. They've kind of struggled a bit, not really scoring. Their only victory came by a penalty shootout. So they're there for the taking. If we're on our money, we'll wipe the floor.
Defensively weak as well, it would seem, especially looking at some of the goals which we'll see now from what they've conceded so far this season. They were probably fortunate to stay up last season, and they're probably a side that will have their eyes over their shoulders for the majority of this season, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's early days, so you don't want to sort of, you know, write them off too soon. But you'd imagine that they'd be, you know, probably in the lower half of the table. So I think, yeah, you know, realistically, we can look at it today as a very, very winnable game. We are away from home though, so you know, Shrewsbury, obviously they've had a difficult start like ourselves, so they'll be as desperate as we are to, you know, to try and get some points on the board. So look, I think it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be a really, really tough game. I'm sure that, you know, Shrewsbury will be very competitive, but you know, as we can see, they are a team that, you know, they do give up chances. They do give you opportunities, and you know, and their defence is leaky and can be punished. So hopefully we're able to take advantage of that.
I think as a striker, Jabbo, if you were watching the clips of this in midweek, and the likes of Dan Adji, Ollie O'Neill, Charlie Kelman, even Jamie Donnelly and Ethan Galbraith, they're exciting players. They'll be looking at that and licking their lips almost.
Yeah, it really is. Finger licking good. You'd be there just thinking, there's some goals to be had, especially just, you know, there's so many opportunities where they just misplaced passes. You could just jump on it and break really quickly. The likes of Dan Adji and Kelman should just be chomping at the bit today, and there's goals to be had there. And I think, you know, as long as we just continue where we've played, because we haven't been bad in the games we've played in, just continue to trust the process. We get an early lead, and then I just think it's 2-3 and we're away.
What way do you see this one going then, Joey?
I can see us winning today 3-1.
3-1?
Or win 3-1, yeah.
I'd rather we didn't concede, but you know, hopefully you're right when it comes to the result. But anyway, it's now time for kickoff, so let's hand over to our match commentary team with the wonderful Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Good afternoon and welcome to the New Meadow, where Leyton Orient have a 100% record, and today we'll be looking for the first point of the campaign or more, and that's exactly what Shrewsbury need as well. Both were busy in transfer action yesterday, but only Alex Gillard is able to feature, and the former Bradford City man makes his debut in a Shrewsbury side that only scored 1 goal in the league this season, and that was here in a heavy defeat at home to Peterborough United, having sustained 2 narrow defeats on the road on the opening day at Stevenage and last week at Huddersfield. It's Leyton Orient in the all-red kit to get this game off and underway, attacking the goal away to our left as we watch in the main stand in this first half. Shrewsbury with the famous blue shirts with the amber stripes, blue shorts and socks. The referee is Mr. Coy, checking with his 2 assistants, the officials in black this afternoon, and it's Dan Adji, who scored on the last day of last season here, who's going to get the first touch of the afternoon once the referee has synchronised with all the various watches on both wrists. And I think any moment this significant game for both clubs will be underway. Again, the referee just checking with his assistant, and we are off and underway here at the New Meadow. Dan Adji inside the centre circle, turns and lays it back to Dan Happy. Dan Happy puts it out towards the right hand side, and Sean Clare got impeded there. The referee waited. There wasn't going to be an advantage. How do you learn that, Matt?
Well, for the O's this afternoon, good afternoon, Dave. 7 changes from Tuesday night's victory at Millwall. The O's line up with Zach Hemming in goal. It's a back 4 this afternoon from right to left. Clare, Cooper, Happy and Sweeney. In front of them will be Jordan Brown and Amy Donnelly. I think Galbraith playing behind Charlie Kelman with on the right-hand side and Ollie O'Neill on the left. That's the line for the O's this afternoon.
Already mentioned the debut for Shrewsbury. They've also made changes. They're also involved in League Cup action midweek as Danajai presses forward, goes into the penalty area, and then the pass was overhit.
Yeah, good move though for the O's, and good to see the run from Jamie Donnelly. Gives the fans